time of year when it comes to time to get your home ready to sell. Do you know what sort of projects will actually add value to your home and which ones are just frivolous that you don't really need to do? Well, joining me is McMonigle with Briggs, Freeman, Sotheby's International Realty, and she is here today to talk about projects that you should do and stuff that you really don't have to do.
Right, it's surprising. There's really 6 things that people think that'll add value to their home but actually don't.
Yeah.
And so when I sit down with a client and they're getting ready to sell, we start talking about the improvements they've made since I've sold them the home and where they think the value is.
Oh yeah, and we always want credit for all the stuff, and you're like, yeah, you probably didn't need to do that.
Right, exactly. And when I usually sit down with them, they always tell me, well, we just replaced the roof and the new air conditioning unit. And those are kind of invisible improvements, but they don't add value to your house.
And things like that, like with a roof, you know, depending on the kind of loan the buyer is going to get, something like that will have to be addressed after you've already made a deal anyway.
That's something that's just regular maintenance that they're going to have to do no matter what.
But you want to get them in the door. So what are some of the things that we think we need to do that we don't need to do?
Well, you know, one of the things is wall-to-wall carpet. For some people think that they're going to put down wall-to-wall carpet, new carpeting, and that's going to add value to their home.
No.
Carpet's not a big seller these days, and most people are ripping it up. So I just say clean your carpets and re-stretch them, and you're good to go.
Yeah, because most people will, if they're going to replace, they're going to replace with hardwood floors or something like that.
Right, they're going to come in, and it's really a preference, personal taste.
Yeah.
Another thing people do is they do high-end upgrades, and they'll only upgrade like one bathroom or their kitchen. Well, people don't tend to pay for just one area of the home that's been upgraded. It's really important to be consistent throughout the home in order to get real value and add to your purchase price.
That's a really interesting point because, you know, I would think that, because these are all some things that I would do, so that I've been doing wrong, clearly, for all these years, but I would spend money, like you said, like on one area, like on the kitchen, and sort of ignore the bathrooms. But you're saying spread it out between the major areas of your home.
Be consistent and upgrade your whole house. If you're going to spend money on it and you're going to take the time and effort to do that, do the whole house and keep it consistent rather than spending a lot of money just in one area.
Yeah.
People will pay you more if the whole house has been upgraded.
And you can still make it nice. You just don't have to, like in Scott's house that he sold, he had like this beautiful imported stone and these, like, you know, handmade vanities, and like he probably didn't need to go to the expense
People
of doing
get carried away with their own personal preferences, and I'll go in and they'll say, oh, you know, this fireplace is from France, and we have these hand-painted tiles. That's great, but if no one else in your neighborhood looks like that, you know, it's more than likely your buyer is not going to pay for that.
Right. Okay.
So that, and extensive landscaping is another one where people go crazy. You know, they'll put an outdoor kitchen or an outdoor fireplace or fire pit or expensive stone. In fact, I had a seller the other day said he spent $30,000 on his wall. I thought, no one else in town has a $30,000 wall. They've all got fences.
Yeah, you're never going to get your $30,000 back in the price of your home.
That's not coming back. And it's surprising. Most people think swimming pools will add value to their home. They'll think, well, the house next door sold for X and they didn't have a pool, we have a pool. But swimming pools really limit your buyer.
They do, because sometimes if you have young kids, you don't want a swimming pool. It also increases your insurance rates.
It does. It increases your insurance. It's a liability. And empty nesters, couples who want to lock and leave their home, don't want the maintenance. That's, you know, there's a lot of maintenance and upkeep to having a pool.
It is expensive. Let's go back to the landscaping for a moment, because I know you've talked before, last time we were here, about, you know, the importance of curb appeal and the importance of, you know, maybe planting flowers, cleaning up your front door area. But we shouldn't go to the expense of putting in like new trees or new shrubs or
plants. You definitely want to spruce up your landscaping and look good. But a lot of times people do elaborate landscaping plans, and then when a buyer comes up, they don't want to maintain that. That's an expense that they don't want to incur. And that's a little scary for them, and they're not going to pay you for that.
Right.
So you've spent, you know, $100,000 on landscaping. Well, they don't see the value in that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to sell that sometimes to a buyer if it's not important to them.
Okay, so then this is a personal question. What about landscape lighting? Because usually they look at the home during the day. They don't really get to see.
Well, it's important to have some uplighting and landscape lighting, but you can go crazy with landscape lighting, and it can get really expensive. And I don't know that you're going to get a real return on that investment. Overbuilding for your neighborhood is also another thing. You want to make sure that you're within the norm and the framework of your neighborhood. You don't want to be the most expensive house on the street.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've all seen those
I was just going to say, yeah,
where
the mansions that are right next door to like the cute little cottages, and you've got this huge thing that's...
They're gorgeous, and you know they spent a fortune, but it's so overpriced and out of the norm of the neighborhood that no one wants to buy it because they know they're not going to be able to resell it.
Right. You know, it's interesting, Robin, because I wonder if it makes sense for people to visit with someone like you even before they have any plans of selling their home. Just to say,
Definitely.
like, we bought this home, there's some things that we want to do to it, but we want to visit with you because maybe, 5-6 years down the line, we'll probably look at selling it. Do you think this is a good thing for us to do?
It's really smart to visit with a good real estate person and talk about before you do a remodel or even before you're building a home to make sure, because today it's really surprising. People aren't all about big houses and big square footage and all the bells and whistles because of the maintenance. After the crash and everything everyone's been through, they want to keep their expenses down.
Yeah.
And they realize, 11,000 square feet is a lot to air condition and heat.
Yes.
So maybe we'd be better to
And
go in
furnish.
4,500, exactly, and to clean and maintain and the landscaping. In fact, I was in a house the other day and the seller said, well, I have 11,000 square feet, but everyone else in the neighborhood's about 4,500. So your buyer and the person that's coming into that neighborhood, that's not an added value.
Does that factor into the price per square foot too?
Definitely. So he's looking at that 11,000 square feet, thinking he's getting $400 or $500 a square foot. Well, he's not because he doesn't fit the norm of the neighborhood.
it's
That
overbuilt.
11,000 square foot buyer's not coming to that neighborhood.
These are such good tips. Okay, Robin has many more days and many more ideas to help you sell your home. Give her a call at 214-543-6903, or you can check out her website at robinmcmonigle.com. And I love that people can just call you and just get your feedback on what they should be doing because you don't have to spend all that money. Okay, we are back with more broadcast right after this.